There's one question that I get asked more by parents of autistic children than any other question. That question is, should we tell our children that they are autistic? And I think we can all agree that the answer is not so easily answered. Before we get into that though, I want to thank all the people who subscribed since my last video. We hit 200 subscribers. Okay, let's get right into it. I'm going to start with my own experience. I self-diagnosed at age 24. I was married, I had 2 children, and my life was in full run. Regardless of how much I had thought about it before, the moment I accepted it truly in myself that this is the truth, the emotional overwhelm was a lot for me to handle. Now, I can't remember what it felt like, but I do remember that I was crying for the day, and my daughter was quite worried about me and what was happening to me. Since then though, my personal experience has been that I've learned a lot about myself. So much more makes sense in my life now. Since then, this was many years ago now, since then I have had regular flashbacks to situations that have happened throughout my life. Things in my childhood, things in school, things that happened with friends, things that teachers said to me, things that other people said to me, situations all of a sudden made sense. They just clicked, and today I understand why they played out the way they did. Because this puzzle piece of understanding that I am autistic made all the difference in me understanding where that miscommunication in all those cases came from. My parents didn't really know much about autism growing up, but my parents were very, very good at treating me and my 3 siblings the way we are. That's why I'm able to stand here today being so confident in my autism. I ask myself often, how would I have reacted if somebody told me that I was autistic at age 14? I believe I could have pigeonholed myself. It means to put myself in a box. I would have put myself in a box thinking these are the things that are me. Because that's the nature of my brain, to get clear rules about what anything means. And so if somebody would have given me this label of autism, I would have not been able to be free to be myself, maybe. But in more situations, I would have had an explanation for why I acted differently. I did always feel different. I always felt weird inside. I felt like, why do I not get it? Why does everyone else react a certain way and why do I not? Why do I always feel like I'm making everything wrong? Why do I always feel like things are not working out for me when they're working out for everyone else? But I do think that I would have been likely to put myself in a box and not explore outside and experience the things that I did experience that have brought me to this day today, where I am, sitting in front of you virtually. Here, it is important to point out, if you've met one autistic person, you have met one autistic person. I am just me, and this is my experience, and this is even my hypothetical understanding of what I believe my experience could have been if that played out. But what does that mean for you or for your children? Should your children know that they're autistic? I guess the question comes down to, is there benefit? And what does it mean to be autistic? To be autistic means my brain is wired in a certain way that is common with about 2 to 3% of the rest of the global population. Probably more, but that's what we measure anyway. Unfortunately, depending on where you live and what your family situation is, there are different connotations attached with being autistic. I think of children with autism as incredible cross-thinkers. They think the way no one else does, and they can find solutions to problems that other people cannot. They can solve problems in a way that most people can't even start to think about. But I do know that in many countries the connotation with autism is that this child is not capable of living a normal life. And that may be true for some. The problem is that it is not true for all. In fact, it's not true for most autistic people. So what does it mean to be autistic? Really, what does it mean? If you tell your child that it is autistic, will you be able to answer the questions that they're going to ask about what that means? And they're going to be very specific questions. The other question is, does the child have the intellectual capacity to be able to understand what it means to be autistic? That being autistic isn't a disadvantage, but just a thing like being left-handed and right-handed. And some people will never be ready to understand, and it would not be beneficial for them to ever know what you consider their brain structure to be called, because it doesn't help them be more of themselves. Autistic people that are fully themselves because they're unaware that other people think of them as different or weird, I believe have little to no advantage in knowing that they're autistic. If anything, it can harm them and make them feel more isolated and ostracized. So, what do I believe is the right answer? Are children allowed to know that they're autistic? Yes. Is it beneficial for them to know that they're autistic? Not always. And that call lies with the parents to decide whether it's the right choice at a certain time. As a child grows up, their understanding will increase and they'll be able to mature emotionally and to the degree that they can understand what it means to be autistic, and that importantly, that it does not mean an automatic disadvantage in this world. There are hardships that come with it, but there are advantages that come with it as well. And being aware of these hardships allows one to work around. But you need to have the intellectual maturity to be able to understand these hardships to be able to work around. There's the other element that the sooner you introduce this aspect, the more normal this will be, just a part of their life. Do the parents understand what it means to be autistic? Often, not every, but often the parents that approach me with this question are worried that they're going to do something wrong and they're going to harm their child. That's a great question to ask yourself. And as long as you find yourself asking that question, I think you're on the right path. So, is it the right thing to tell your child? That choice is unfortunately up to you. I am very, very glad that I'm autistic because it allowed me to get the work that I have today, in which I'm very happy and at which I'm very good. It allows me to support my family, and that in turn makes me even happier. So I hope this helped you today. If you have any own experiences or questions or new topics that you want to hear about, leave a comment below. If you like the video, like the video. And please share it with friends and family so that more people can learn about these things. And with that, I'll see you next time. Thanks.